Hi students, we are here for you with the second video of process costing. See, in the last video, we tried to clear our concept in which industries we will use the process costing system and how we are going to calculate the cost. And we said that in order to calculate the cost, we first have to learn how to calculate equivalent units of production. In the previous video, students, we talk about some basic examples through the main text. So in this video, we are going to do some practice questions so that you people would be fully clear about the equivalent units of production. So here we will do some questions, how to calculate equivalent units of production. And once we solve some questions, we will move for the next level of the topic, which is actually how to calculate equivalent cost per unit. And then the final level of the topic is evaluation of finished goods and evaluation of work in process. So it's after finishing this video, we will upload one more video for the practice questions from software, because these are purely practice based topics in which we have to do more practice, because almost 60 to 70% learning actually happening through practice questions. So let's go through the questions, students. We are selecting these questions from the Gleam book for the discussion purpose, and the next video we will upload from the software as well. Let us go through this question. As you can see on the screen, he's saying Leviton company employs a process cost system for its manufacturing operations. All direct materials are added at the beginning of the process. So it's very much important information for us, because we will use this information at later stage. You will take a look. This information we need to note down immediately, that material we are adding at beginning of the process. So whenever these things are happening, treatments are different. I'll show you later stage. And conversion cost added proportionally. Leviton's production quantity schedule for November is reproduced in the next column. So this is our quantity schedule. Students, work in process opening, we are having 1000 units, and these are 60% completed with respect to conversion cost. Units started during November, how much? 5000. So total unit we are having 6000. Units completed and transferred from beginning work in process 1000. Units started and completed during November 3000. And work in process closing 2000, which is 20% completed with respect to conversion cost. So this is the normal information given. On the basis of that, we will solve questions 4 through 7. So here, let us go through question number 4. Saying using the Fifo method, Leviton's equivalent units for conversion cost for November. So we have to calculate equivalent units of production for conversion cost by using Fifo method. Students, you can refer our previous video. Remember, I wrote the formula. I said that work in process opening, take the percentage here, and in the bracket I mentioned balancing percentage. In the second line, students, I mentioned that unit started and completed in same period. And the third line, we said that work in process closing, and we mentioned the percentage. So these three steps you only need to do, and you will have the equivalent units of production for conversion cost. Correct? So let's work for work in process opening. Work in process opening, when we take a look, these are 1000 units which are already 60% complete. So in our previous video also, we emphasize on this point. When you are solving the question, you have to take a look how much is the remaining percentage for the opening. Remaining mean how much we are going to spend during this period. So students, here 60% already completed, remaining 40% we are going to spend during this period. So I'll take 40% of 1000. So here it will come 400, correct? Units started and completed during the period, students. Before, remember, in order to calculate units started and completed in the same period, I was using this formula: units completed minus work in process opening. But here I don't need to apply this formula because he already gave us the breakup of completed units. Actually, these are the completed units. Out of that, this much from work in process and this much are those units which started and completed during the same period. So here I can write, student, 3000. And the last one, work in process closing, we mentioned as per the formula, you need to mention percentage. So closing percentage, let's take a look. So here you don't need to take a look anything regarding the balancing. Whatever the real percentage is given, same you need to apply. So 20% of 2000, students, you will get how much? Again, your answer will come 400. So the total you will have 3000. So here I wrote the work in process closing figure. So 3800 is your answer. So try to understand these three steps, how I am performing to calculate equivalent units of production. As we discussed in our previous video as well, if you already know the calculation for equivalent units of production, remaining steps of the topics are very simple. Students, we will now use the same data, and you can see question number 5, students. In question number 5, what he asked from us, in question number 5, he want us to calculate the equivalent units of production for materials by using the FIFO method. All right, so students, we already read the question. We will just go back to the given information. By using the given information here, we will calculate the equivalent units of production for materials now. Let us perform the calculations now. So its formula will remain same, like here now I am performing the calculations for material by using the given information. So there will be some different information, different treatments this time when we are doing for the materials. So take a look very carefully. So it's here we are having work in process opening, as I mentioned earlier, percentage mean balancing percentage. Then we are having units started and completed in same period. You know it very well. These are those units which we started and completed in this month itself. And the third line we are having, which we call work in process closing units. For this one, you have to apply the percentage. So these three steps we have to do for calculation of equivalent units of production for materials. So let's take a look the first step, work in process opening. So we said that balancing percentage, take the balancing percentage, mean to say if we are spending anything during this period, then only consider that percentage, otherwise you will not consider anything. So it's here, this is the work in process of November 1, mean it is the opening of November 1, mean to say these 1000 units we started in the month of October. That's why these units become the work in process closing for the month of October. So now this information will play the crucial role as we take a look earlier here, saying all direct materials are added at the beginning of the process. Mean to say when these units started in the month of October, so 100% materials we added at beginning of the process. So these work in process closing units were 100% completed with respect to materials, because material we added at beginning of the process. So that's why you notice that he is not giving you any kind of breakup how much these are completed with respect to materials, because from this information we have to conclude by ourselves that these are 100% completed with respect to materials. So now, very simple students, as these units started in October, so in November, we are not going to spend any cost on these units with respect to materials. These units we started in October, and at that time 100% we already added the material. So in November, we are not going to add anything because we started these units in October. So from those units, it become work in process closing of October and then become the opening of November. Mean to say 100% material already spent on these units in the month of October, and we will not spend anything related to material in the month of November. So that's why I'll take here 0. Alright, students here I'll take 0. Here, units started and completed in the same period, we already have 3000, and for the closing, you have to apply the percentage. So you notice that no percentage given for the material because material 100% we are adding at the beginning of the process. So mean to say the whole 2000 you will be recording here. So like that your answer will come how much? 5000. So it's any point which you want to discuss, you can mention in the comment section. So here we can see that our answer is 5000. We will go for another question, students. Now he is saying that the same question by using the same information, we have to solve question number 6. Let us read question number 6. And in question number 6, what he is looking, he want us to calculate equivalent units of productions for direct materials by using weighted average method. So let us go as per weighted average method. Students will go through the same information because you can see in the book as well. He gave the data for multiple questions. So what we will do, we will solve now the same question by using the weighted average method. So by using the weighted average method, we have to calculate the equivalent units of production for materials. Students, here in our previous video, we mentioned the formula for weighted average method. We said that work in process opening, we said that take all. The second line we mentioned that unit started and completed in same period, and the third one we mentioned that work in process closing. Take the percentage. So it's here all mean we don't consider any kind of percentage, whatever the number of units are given. We simply record it. We are doing question number 6, students, and we are calculating the equivalent units of production for materials. So here work in process opening, we took all 1000. Units started and completed in the same period, 3000, and work in process closing will be considered 100% completed with respect to materials because material we are adding at beginning of the process. So here 2000 as it is we will take. Students, in this case, we will get the answer 6000. So it was actually simple. We don't need to consider how much is the balancing percentage. So usually this weighted average method considers the simplest method. Like here, you got the 6000 answer. So I hope that you don't have any difficulty about this one. Next level students, we will do one more question for your better understanding. Let's take a look what he gave in the next question. Question number 7, he actually asked us the same thing, equivalent units of production we have to calculate by using weighted average method for conversion cost. So let us solve question number 7. We always bring our screen back here because we need to take a look the information. So here students, we are solving here question number 7. So same formula, work in process opening. I am using here weighted average method and I'm calculating the equivalent units of production for conversion cost. Work in process opening, students, we said that take all. Second one, I mentioned that units started and completed in same period. And the third one, we said that work in process closing. Work in process opening, we mentioned that take all whenever we are using weighted average method 1000. And here I need to take units started and completed in the same period. So these are actually 3000 units, which he already gave us 3000. And work in process closing, students, as per the formula, we need to apply the percentage. So these are 20% completed. So we'll get here how much? 400. So like that, 4400 is our answer. Students, you notice that by using the same given information, we actually calculated the equivalent units of production under Fifo method and weighted average method. So after solving these questions, I hope that you people are fully clear how to do these things. Students, the next level of practice we are having, by doing this practice, we will be able to cover our next level of topic. On top of that, we will be able to solve some additional questions as well. So students, now by solving questions 8 through 14, we will be able to understand the next level of topic. On top of that, we will have some additional practice questions as well. So let us go through this one. Students, he's saying that Kimball Manufacturing uses a process cost system to manufacture dust density sensors for the mining industry. The following information pertains to operations for the month of May. So we are having beginning work in process inventory. We are having units started during the May 100,000, completed production during May 92,000, and ending work in process 24,000. So student, this is quantity schedule given, how much we are having opening, how much we started, completed, and ending work in process. The beginning inventory, this is the breakup given for the beginning and ending inventory, like the stages of completion. These percentages we will use later to calculate equivalent units of production. The beginning inventory was 60% complete for materials and 20% complete for conversion cost. So this is the breakup given for the beginning inventory. The ending inventory was 90% complete for materials and 40% complete for conversion cost. So this is the breakup given for ending inventory of work in process. So net costs pertaining to the month of May are as follows. Beginning inventory costs are materials. So this is the cost which we spend during the period. For materials, beginning inventory, we already spent material cost 54,000, labor this much, overheads this much, cost incurred during May this much we incurred additional cost, material 468, labor 182, and overhead this much. So this information, students, very long information actually in fact given for around 6-7 questions. We will go through now. Using the weighted average method, Kimball equivalent units of materials for May is. So students, we need to calculate equivalent unit cost of materials by using the weighted average method. So what's the formula, students? Equivalent unit cost of materials is equal to cost of beginning inventory plus cost added during period. The whole thing you need to divide with equivalent units of material which we calculated as per weighted average. Students, if we asking you as per weighted average, calculate equivalent unit cost of materials. In the denominator, you will use equivalent units of production, which you calculated as per weighted average. That you need to be very careful. Students, here cost of beginning inventory already given. It is 54,560. 54,560, and how much we added during the period plus 468,000 we added during the period. We will divide it with the equivalent units of production. Students, we already have enough practice as we did enough practice for equivalent units of production. So right now I can borrow the figures from here. Equivalent units of production in this case is 113,600. So the time you apply this formula, you notice that we actually require three things in this formula. Cost of beginning inventory, cost added during the period, dividing by equivalent units of production for materials. So once we did these things, we will get our answer, students, 4.60. Correct? So simply what you need to do, cost of beginning inventory plus cost added during a period dividing by equivalent units of materials by weighted average method, you will have the material cost per unit. So let's try the next question. Next question is about the calculation of this one we call evaluation of work in process. So this is actually the evaluation of work in process, and students, before doing this one, we actually need equivalent unit cost for materials, and we need equivalent unit cost for conversion cost. So once we have these two values, we will be able to do the evaluation of work in process. The word evaluation we use how to calculate the value of work in process. So in order to perform this calculation, like we will come back to question number 9 again, we can go to next questions and there we can calculate, say, per unit cost. There we can calculate per unit cost for the FIFO, and then we can come back to question number 9. Students, let me write the formula how to calculate the per unit equivalent material cost as per FIFO. Students, here you will not consider the cost already added on the work in process. The only cost you have to consider cost added during the period dividing by equivalent units as per FIFO for materials. You notice that what was the difference? Like when I was doing the same thing as per weighted average, here I was considering the cost of beginning inventory as well, like how much cost we already spent on the beginning inventory with respect to materials. While when we are doing as per FIFO, only cost we consider we say is cost added during the period. And cost added during the period is 468,000. This one you just need to divide it with equivalent units of production, and you already have very good idea how to calculate equivalent units of production. So like that students, we will get the answer B, 4.50. So this one I'll further use in order to calculate the value of work in process which we just left in question number 9. So I hope that question number 12 is clear. Just keep in mind the formulas well. Students, we will do next question because remember in order to solve question number 9, we need per unit material cost and we need per unit conversion cost. So per unit material cost we already got. Now we will take a look per unit conversion cost. Students, formula will remain same in order to calculate per unit conversion cost by using FIFO method. Formula we will have same. The only thing you have to use the values of conversion cost. So here students we will say per unit equivalent conversion cost is equal to, here also you will consider only cost added during period. You will not consider any cost related to work in process, dividing by equivalent units. So here students, how much cost we added? We added 182,880 direct labor, plus we are having factory overheads or manufacturing overhead 391160. The whole figure, the sum of this one, we will divide it with equivalent units of production. Students, equivalent units of production as we did the calculation before. So once you will divide it with equivalent units of production, you will have the answer 5.83. So now students, you already have both of the figures and you are in a position to go for question number 9. In question number 9, actually, we have to evaluate work in process, evaluation of work in process we are having in question number 9. So here you have to calculate the value of work in process. Yes, friends. So here we are having the formula. Remember, we discussed in our previous units as well, students, whenever we want to calculate the cost of any cost object, like here, one of the cost object, we are having work in process. So we always look for these three elements, direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. Here students, we club these two elements into conversion cost. So here while calculating the value of work in process, I'll have to look only for two elements, material and conversion cost. So students, material component, how I can have, say, we will take a look how many units we were having in closing work in process. So for that purpose, for the accuracy purpose, what we can do, we can take a look the questions we were having. See, we are having here 24,000 units. See here, 24,000 units we are having in closing work in process. So what we will do, students, 24,000 you are having. So here, first of all, you have to work for materials components. 24,000 units multiplied by per unit material cost, which we discuss in another question. Let me first write the formula for your clarity purpose. Material component, how we will calculate work in process closing units multiplied by percentage of completion multiplied by per unit material cost. This is the first component first. Second component, how we will get conversion cost, same thing. Work in process closing units multiplied by percentage of completion Here we will consider the percentage of completion for conversion cost and multiply by per unit conversion cost. Students, you know that all these values we already calculated in our upcoming questions. So we'll just borrow these values from there. Like here you can see that per unit we calculated per unit material cost, and how much we were having per unit material cost. Per unit material cost units we calculated here 4.50. I'm just putting the values in the formula. Once you know the formula values, you can pick up from here. And per unit conversion cost, you are having 5.83. Now, I just need students closing units and percentage of completion, which I can pick up from the initial information of the questions. See here we can see that 24,000 units we are having in work in process closing units. 24,000 multiplied by percentage of completion with respect to materials. Here students is given these are 90% completed with respect to materials. Now we come to conversion cost 24,000 units which are 40% completed with respect to conversion cost. So the time students we will solve these two simple equations. We will have the answer of question number 9. Like here as per the book how much answer given 153 168. So your answer must be matching because we use the correct figures. Yes, students. So once you solve these two numbers, like here, if we calculate this one, here we will have one number. If we calculate this one, we will have one number, and we will have answer 153,168. Alright, students. So this was actually the evaluation of work in process. Now here itself, if we are having the values, we can calculate the value of finished goods inventory as well. Like in order to calculate the value of finished goods inventory, again we only need per unit cost which we already calculated. So per unit cost students we will keep in mind, and by using the information given, although question is not given here, but in order to complete the topic we will calculate the value of finished goods as well. 4.50 and 5.83. 4.50 and 5.83. This is my material cost per equivalent unit, and this is my conversion cost per equivalent unit. Students, assume that in the same question you have to calculate the value of finished goods. So here things are very simple. The only thing you have to multiply finished units, completed units, like here we are having 92,000 multiplied by per unit material cost. You will have answer here, and 92,000 multiplied by per unit conversion cost 5.83. You will have answer here. The time you add these two values, you will have the value of finished goods. So again, you are following the same methodology as I told you. Whenever you want to calculate the value of any cost object, you always look for three elements: direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. But here what happened? You club these two things into conversion cost. That's why in order to calculate the value of finished goods we just multiply with per unit material cost and per unit conversion cost. So like that we have the value of finished goods. Alright students, so that's all for this topic. We will upload one more video for practice questions specifically to enhance your skills about this topic. So after that, this topic will complete. Thank you very much.